Coming up on 5 Minute News. Macron ashamed of Lebanon's political leaders. Trump paid just $750 in US income taxes in election year. And Barrett could be Ginsburg's polar opposite on Supreme Court. It's Monday, September 28. I'm Anthony Davis. French President Emmanuel Macron assailed Hezbollah and the entire Lebanese political class yesterday and warned of a new civil war if they can't set aside personal and religious interests to unlock international aid and save Lebanon from economic collapse. But Macron said France wouldn't impose sanctions on anyone in its former protectorate for now. And he clung to his promised roadmap to break Lebanon's political stalemate, despite Saturday's resignation of its Prime Minister-designate, which throws Macron's plan into question. "I'm ashamed of the Lebanese political leaders, ashamed," Macron repeated in a news conference in which he gave a brutal assessment of Lebanon's power brokers. He accused them of collective betrayal and choosing to favour their partisan and individual interests to the general detriment of the country. Lebanon's two main Shiite parties, Hezbollah and its ally Amal, led by Parliamentary Speaker Nabi Berri, had insisted on retaining the foreign ministry in the new government and on naming all the Shiite cabinet ministers. Prime Minister-designate Mustafa Adib rejected those conditions and stepped down on Saturday, throwing the country into further uncertainty and further delaying foreign aid. Macron didn't propose any concrete steps that France might take if Lebanon's central bank reserves dry up and the government is no longer able to subsidize basic goods such as fuel, medicine, and wheat. Macron has been pressing Lebanese politicians to form a cabinet made up of non-partisan specialists that can work on urgent reforms to extract Lebanon from a financial crisis worsened by the August 4th explosion at Beirut port. Macron has travelled twice to Beirut since then and has made it a personal mission to try to repair the damaged country, raising resentment from some who see it as a neo-colonial foray. Donald Trump paid just $750 in federal income taxes the year he ran for president and in his first year in the White House, according to a report yesterday in the New York Times. Trump, who has fiercely guarded his tax filings and is the only president in modern times not to make them public, paid no federal income taxes in 10 of the past 15 years. He campaigned for office as a billionaire real estate mogul and successful businessman. Speaking at a news conference at the White House, Trump dismissed the report and said he has paid taxes, though he gave no specifics. The disclosure, which the Times says comes from tax return data it obtained extending over 2 decades, comes at a pivotal moment ahead of the first presidential debate on Tuesday and weeks before a divisive election against Democrat Joe Biden. The president vowed that information about his taxes will all be revealed, but he offered no timeline for the disclosure and made similar promises during the 2016 campaign, on which he never followed through. In fact, the president has fielded court challenges against those seeking to access his returns, including the US House, which is suing for access to Trump's tax returns as part of congressional oversight. Amy Coney Barrett paid homage to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her White House speech on Saturday as a shatterer of glass ceilings. She said she would be mindful of the woman whose place she would take on the Supreme Court. But the replacement of the liberal icon Ginsburg, the second woman to serve on the High Court by Barrett, would represent the most dramatic ideological change on the Supreme Court in nearly 30 years and cement conservative dominance of the court for years to come. Barrett's conservative judicial record, her writings and speeches suggest she would be Ginsburg's polar opposite on a range of issues. Barrett has cast votes suggesting she would uphold state abortion restrictions that Ginsburg found violated the Constitution. Barrett also favours a more expansive interpretation of gun rights. If Barrett is confirmed before the November 3rd election, she would get a chance to weigh in on the latest lawsuit to overturn Obamacare, which is set for arguments a week later. Barrett's ascension to the Supreme Court could give gun rights advocates the vote they need to bring the issue back to the court in the near future. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Please subscribe, rate and review us at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an independent production covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering unbiased, verified and truthful world news daily.